All right, guys, the last couple of days we worked on equations. Now we're going to mix it up and do some inequalities. So let's get going. First one is a linear inequality. They work just like equations do. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to move the 9x over with a 3x, make it negative 6x is less than 4. Divide by negative 6. This is where you got to remember. Remember when you divide by negative, you flip the sign. It becomes negative 4 6, which is really negative 2/3. And we're going to write it in interval notation. So we're going to say it's going from negative 2/3 to infinity. And there you go. Let's look at another one. This is called a conjunction or compound inequality. It's got 3 sides. And we're just going to solve it for x, working all 3 sides at the same time. Going to add 2 to all 3 sides. Gives me 3x in the middle, 15 over here, 6 over here. Divide by 3 everywhere. 15 divided by 3, 6 divided by 3. We're going to write our answers in interval notation. Parentheses 2, parentheses 5, because there's no equal. Oops, sorry about that. I just happened to miss that. I didn't even catch that as I was going through. It's equal to, which means I can have a bracket around the 2. Remember how we did that the other day? Bracket around the 2 for the equals, parentheses around the 5 for not equal, or just, less than. All right, quadratics work a little bit differently. I'm going to still solve it like it's an equation. Move all this stuff. I like the x squared to be positive, so I can move the 5x over, make it negative. Move the 6 over, make it positive. I'm going to go ahead and factor like we were doing earlier, x minus 3, x minus 2. Which means my zeros are 3 and 2. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw a little, this looks like a number line. Technical name is a sign graph. I'm going to put the 2 and the 3 here. I'm going to plug in a number over here, like 0. If I plug in 0 up here, I'm going to original. If I plug 0 in there, that leaves me with 6. 6 is positive, so I'm going to put a positive sign there. Now I'm going to plug a number between 2 and 3, which is like 2.5. If I plug 2.5 into both of these x's, it gives me a negative in the first parentheses and a positive in the second, and a negative times a positive is a negative, so I'm going to go negative there. Then I'm going to pick a number bigger than 3, let's say 4. If I pick 4, that parentheses is positive. This parentheses is also positive. Positive times positive is a positive. That's why it's called a sign graph, because I put the signs above the graph. And then I'll look back at where I start. I'm looking for, what am I looking for? Okay, this says less than 0. Less than 0 are negative numbers, and here's my negative sign right there. Where's the negative? It's between 2 and 3. And the reason I'm using brackets there is because my sign in the problem had an equals to with it. So the answer there is between, in all numbers between 2 and 3, solve that inequality. All right, this one is bigger than quadratic, but it's already factored out for us. So I'm going to work it the exact same way. I'm going to make a sign graph down here. All right, I'm going to put all the zeros on it. That's a 0. What makes that parenthesis 0 is 1. And what makes this parenthesis 0 is 3. Now, I'm going to tell you a secret right here, so don't share this video with anybody. I'm going to plug in 100 because it's really huge, because it's easy to plug in something really huge like 100. Which means that'd be 100, that'd be 99 squared, and that'd be 97. Now, if I multiply 100 times 99 squared times 97, it's going to be positive. So I'm going to put a plus sign there. All right, now, here's the secret. The signs alternate all the time. So if that's plus, that's minus, that's plus, that's minus. That always works. Don't share that with anybody, because I'm not supposed to tell you. So here we go. This time I'm looking for, where's it less than 0? There's 2 places where I see negative signs. One is right here, which is from negative infinity until you get to the 0. I put a parentheses because there's no equal sign. Also is negative between 1 and 3 with parentheses again. Now, that sign, remember, that means union. So it's all that they have in common. Well, not in common. It's everything in both those sets. All right, solves that one. All right, this may be the toughest one of the day. If you have a fraction in your inequality, what you're going to have to do is you got to move the 1 over. You have to move the 1 over. So it gives me this 1 plus x over 1 minus x. Minus 1 is greater than or equal to 0. You got to get it equal to 0 or less, greater, or whatever. Got to get 0 on that side. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add these 2 things together. 1 is really 1 minus x over 1 minus x, and I chose that because that was my denominator already. And so what that gives me in my denominator is 1 minus x. My numerator, I'm going 1. Well, it would do this. It would be 1 plus x minus 1 minus x. Still this. Okay, so that gives me 1 minus 1. The 1's cancel. X minus negative x, which is really x plus x, which is 2x over 1 minus x. Okay, so that's where you end up. Now, here's the deal. I need to make a sine graph again. And this time when you make your sine graph, you do the 0 at the top. Well, what would make the top 0? 0 would. And you think, what would make the bottom 0? 1 would. So that's what goes on your sine graph. So that's why you have to combine those fractions together. I'm going to do the same thing I did a minute ago. I'm going to plug in 100. It's huge. It's easy. If I plug it in the top, I get 200. If I plug it in the bottom, I get like negative 99. That's negative. Don't tell anybody, but the signs alternate. That's plus, that's minus. Okay, this time I'm looking for where is it positive? Well, it's positive between 0 and 1. And I'm going to go brackets this time because I have an equal sign. Okay, I've got one more slide to show you. The last kind of inequality is absolute value inequalities. Now, hopefully remember this from Algebra 2. If there's a less than and you have absolute value, it's an and problem. Less than. So I'm going to say x minus 5 is less than 2 and greater than negative 2. It's between those two. Remember, absolute value means distance from 0. The distance from 0 is less than 2, which means it's in between negative 2 and positive 2 on the number line. Just add 5 to all three sides. 2 plus 5 is 7. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. So my answer is everything between 3 and 7. All right, the second one is just the opposite. This one says greater than, which means the distance from 0 has to be bigger than 4, which means the number inside the absolute value has to either be bigger than 4 or, I don't know why I put 5 there, I just said 4. That was awesome. Or less than negative 4, which means they're both further than 4 away from 0 on the number line. You may wonder why I squeeze that in. I just run out of room on my slide. Okay, solve that, move that 2 over. That's going to be 2 divided by 3. I get x is greater than 2/3. Or move this 2 over. That's negative 6 divided by 3. You get negative 2. So my answer is going to be everything from negative infinity to negative 2 with the parentheses and or everything from 2/3 to positive infinity. That's how you write those two things in interval notation. All right, hopefully you've seen almost all that before. Maybe not the fraction one. I'm trying to think. The quadratic was just a little bit, but we'll work like we always do. Don't worry about it. We'll work on it in class tomorrow. You will feel great after tomorrow in class. So I'll see you then.